We will begin to interact with our computers as we interact with other people. If Turing is right, in Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking and Bill Gates and many others, if these people are right, and there will come a moment not too far away, Ray Kurzweil thinks that in 10 years, if there will be a moment where we will not be able to tell the difference in terms of our reactions between computer and human being, if there will be a moment in the future where I will react to another human being the exact same way that I react to a computer, then what would be the difference between that computer and a human being?
Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio.
The INFJ can spend more time inside of themselves, really contemplating world events and world meaning and the purpose of humanity and stuff like this. So they're getting a lot of charge and energy and focus from their internal world. And then when they get all that energy, they want to then put it externally through their extroverted feelings. So when they're presenting.
Do you know the famous story of the black cats? We have a sentence, all cats are black. And then we begin to look outside and we see one black cat and two black cats and three black cats, and we sit for 1 year and we see 100,000 black cats. And then we sit for 10 years and we see 11 million black cats. All the cats we've ever seen are black. Can we say that all cats are black? No, we cannot. Because in the next year, there may be a white cat. The minute there's a single white cat, the sentence, all cats are black, is invalid. It's the same with personality theory. We can make claims about personality, we can make claims about character, we can make claims about human identity. But the minute we have one white cat, the minute we have a person, an individual, with a mental disorder that invalidates our theories become invalid. There are people among us who see other people differently. There are people among us who do not accept the concept of personality. There are people among us who don't feel human and don't relate to other people as human. There are people among us who believe firmly that they are dead, not alive. There are too many exceptions, too many white cats.
I think when I watch, as I did today, a video by a very insightful INFJ woman who was talking about NE-DOMs and some of the challenges of being an NE-DOM, I found myself thinking, I know we're a handful, but you don't get it. We've been being shut down for as long as we remember. And at a certain point, you know, you get sick of it. And we understand that.
So when they're presenting to you their ideas and their concepts and stuff that's been musing around inside of their introvert intuition, they want to communicate it through extroverted feeling, meaning they want you to feel what they've been thinking about. So they're not going to be just presenting facts, you know, like an INTJ will. They're going to be presenting the emotion of their cause.
How do we know that we exist separately from reality? How do we know that there is such a thing as reality? And how do we know that there is such a thing as our mind and that they are independent of each other? We don't. The answer is we don't. We don't. Maybe our mind is an integral part of our environment, and our environment is an integral part of our mind. Maybe we are much more involved and merged and fused with reality than we care to admit. Maybe, in other words, we are not separate. And if we are not separate from our environment, if we are, like Indian philosophy suggests, if we are an integral part of our environment, if we are the universe and the universe is us, if all this is true, this kind of Eastern approach, then personality and identity are Western inventions. Inventions, not reality, not true. It seems that what happened is that in the 18th century, when the Enlightenment started, and before that in the 17th century with Descartes, we developed the concept of the individual. And the individual came together with the concepts of personality, character, identity, temperament. These are Western inventions. This break, this schism between the world and we, between the world and our personality, between the world and who we are, this tear in the fabric of reality is a recent invention, and it's a uniquely Western invention. If you go to India, if you go to Tibet, if you go to Laos, if you go to China, philosophers and psychologists there do not talk in these terms, do not use this language. As far as they're concerned, there's total integration between the individual and the world and the universe, even the physical universe. The distinctions made between individuals and society, individuals and civilization, individuals and physical reality, these distinctions are 300 years old, and they are highly, highly culture bound. They're highly culture specific. If we get rid of these distinctions, we can develop a totally new different of psychology, and I will come to it much later.
You know, I warned you. I told you. This place is, this MBTI thing is doing damage. And probably you thinking I'm crying because I was mistyped as the INFJ. No. In actuality, it's even worse for many people. Because at the end of the day, he types me, I'm still NIFETISE.
We cannot separate the science of personality. We cannot create a theory of individual personality, ignoring the culture in society in which the individual lives. When Freud wrote his masterpieces, which later gave birth to the movement of psychoanalysis and then psychoanalytic psychology, when Freud wrote these masterpieces, he did exactly this. He ignored his culture, his society, his environment, his ecosystem, and his milieu. Actually, I would say the vast majority of psychologists pretend that individuals are atoms, that they live in isolation, that you can take an individual and analyze that individual's character, identity, personality, conduct, emotions, cognitions, thoughts, and interpersonal relationships in isolation from his background, family, neighborhood, community, friends, ethos, society, and culture. The truth is, you cannot. But now they're faced with a unique situation. Who will certify? There is an issue of certification. Who will certify that they're experts? How can they prove that they're intellectuals? So what they did, they found areas of knowledge where you can become instant expert. For example, if I ask you to be an expert or an intellectual in nuclear physics or astrophysics, it might take you a while. And really don't be offended, but I doubt very much if you'll make it.
I'm not offended.
Right. But if I ask you to become an expert on football, it's like your month. If you're very slow. And if I ask you to become an expert on astrology, a week. Suddenly, fields of knowledge which allowed you to claim verifiably and truthfully that you're an expert within a month or a week came to prominence. If you go to discussion boards of astrology, you will find 3 million people, 5 million people, and I'm exaggerating not. If you go to discussion boards of nuclear physics, you'd be lucky to find 800. People go to these boards of astrology. Why? Because each and every single one of them claims to be an expert. I'm making natal charts. I discovered these. The conjunction of Uranus with I don't know who. I mean, they're all experts. And you know what? When you analyze what they're writing, they are experts. Because astrology requires a week.
Right.
They are real experts.
Yeah.
And people who are experts on British football, they are real experts. They will tell you what Chelsea did and what Manchester did and United Manchester. And they really know what they're talking about. So suddenly these fields, pseudoscience, occult, sports, they became prominent. No one talks anymore about physics because these fields allow you to feel good, allow you to feel like real experts. But if you stop to think about dissociation, you realize that dissociative states are a massive challenge to the very possibility of constructing a science of psychology. Because in a dissociative state, we no longer have access to reality, and actually we no longer have a sense of identity and personality. Because identity and personality rely crucially on a continuity of memory. If you were to lose all your memories tomorrow, you would not have an identity. People with amnesia don't have an identity. People with Korsakoff syndrome, alcohol that destroyed the brain, and as a result destroyed all the memories, don't have identity. Without memory, there is no identity. And without continuity of memory, without a narrative that connects all the memories, there is no sense of identity. And without a sense of identity, there is no personality. So, dissociation challenges the very basic concepts of psychology, because when you dissociate, you have no memory. And when you have no memory, you have no identity. And when you have no identity, you have no personality. But wait a minute, we all dissociate all the time. Typically, we dissociate hundreds of times a day.
But what hurts me is that I received an email from someone and the world has fallen apart because now they think that I'm an ENFJ and not an INFJ, and now they don't understand because they relate to me so much, and now they're starting to doubt themselves. And I warned you about this. I warned people about this whole typing online, and I told you. I've told you. Like, again, people don't realize, bro, the 1% is real. We don't sit here and talk about INFJs and just sit here and go for the low-hanging fruit. Oh, an INFJ looks like this. These are the 5 things for the INFJ. That's low-hanging fruit for people who can't go beyond the complexities that we hold in our heads.
There is a mental health disorder called Anton Babinski. Anton Babinski is a very interesting mental health disorder. It's people who are blind. They can't see anything. They're utterly blind. But they insist that they're not blind. These people insist that they can see perfectly well. Never mind how many times ophthalmologists and experts tell these people that they're blind. These people retort by saying, I'm not blind, I've never been blind, and I can see perfectly well. Okay, we say, what do you see? And then what they do, they describe what they see, and of course it's total confabulation, it's total invention. So when you talk to a patient with Anton Babinski, and the patient is blind, and you ask the patient to describe what she sees, because the patient insists that she can see, and you ask her, what do you see? She describes a reality that is not the same as our reality. But to her, it's completely real. She has her own reality. We have our own reality. Which reality is more real? My reality or her reality? We pathologize her. We say that she's mentally sick. But could she pathologize us? Could she pathologize me? Maybe she could say that I'm the sick one because I cannot see the table. These are not trivial issues. There is no agreement on the mind of other people. I don't have access to anyone's mind. I don't have access to any reality except the reality that I perceive. I can negotiate with other people. I can agree with other people. I can compare with other people. But the truth is that in the majority of cases, we will not agree on many, many, many things.
And when you have someone like Eric typing people online, not really having an understanding of what's going on, he himself not really knowing whether or not people are attacking him or not knowing where someone's coming from, again, because that's the TI in him, as he stated in this video.
When that conversation starts, I've noticed on a number of occasions that I realize after I'm done, oh, that was one of those conversations. And I didn't realize it as I was having it, where they're telling me something, you know, and I realized afterwards, oh, that's why they were acting weird like that. And it wasn't just a conversation happened to go there. That's why they intended it before I even got there. It was to talk to me about that.
You see what I'm saying to you? He has no clue. He has no clue. And when he presents these videos, now I'm going to have to deal with the issues. Now I have to deal with it. And I told you, bro. I told you.
You know what? You just asked a very important question. I'm glad I get to say this. I pretty much really didn't think I was going to put out that video. I was watching it and watching it and watching it, and I was like, no,
So you
no.
question your content as well.
My guy, I hold myself accountable more than anything else I do in my life. And I want them to realize that if they're actually happy, they have a responsibility to put out that content because it might penetrate somebody else's head and change the course of their lives. So that was a weird one. That was for the people that follow me that are on the mindset like I am, to encourage them to do more.
So I'm going to cut into my to the video that I made before, so I don't have to repeat myself.
But here's the thing. This is exemplary of the difference. Is INFJ will have their thought they're going to tell you, right? And that explains the big difference between extrovert intuition dominance and I think more or less all other types. And it's a
Yeah,
weird
no.
life, you know?
I've got it on my mind, and I'm like, this is my goal, and this is what I need to say, and this is what I need to accomplish. Like, anything outside of that is, like, irrelevant to what I'm trying to do. I related to what they were saying. They were saying INFJs are very empathetic, but they're not necessarily always sympathetic. And I was like, yeah, that sounds right. Like, I can empathize with you, and I can, like, realize that you're feeling a certain way, and I can, like, know how you're feeling, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna, like, be nice to you
Right.
and sugarcoat the truth when you, like, need to know something. I'm just gonna tell you straight out. It might hurt your feelings, it might sound harsh, but, you know, it's for the best, for your betterment.
That's, again, looking at things as a whole, right? Rather than as chunks, little chunks that could be anything.
Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio, back with another video. Today's sort of impromptu video, right? And sort of a rant, but a low-key rant, right? Obviously, some of you know that I was typed by Eric from Talking with Famous People, right? And I mean, it's no skin off my back. I mean, I'm gonna post a response video. I mean, with regards to my perspective on that, right? Which I think a lot of folks, not so much the people who truly follow me, but those who come in and out, they'd be surprised as to really see my response, because at the end of the day, INFJ, ENFJ, that's where you type me ENFJ. Whether it's NIFE, TISE for INFJ, or FENISETI for ENFJ, guess what? Still have the NI, still have the FE, still have the SC, still have the TI. You see what I'm saying to you? And they're not too far from each other. So, I mean, is it like we're going to sit here and we're going to, like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, he really got you. I mean.
And no matter how much you lay out to them and say, look, I get it. I know you think it's really about me. I know you think I'm that nuts. But if you actually look at what I've done, like if you didn't know me and you just saw what I've done, how would all that work and all these things be possible if I was who you think I am?
But you saw, and even himself, which I find fascinating, he made a comment with regards to, even though his SI is low, but he's bringing it forward or what have you. So even he's moving stuff around. So let me just tell you something. Let me tell you folks a little something, right? You need to be careful about this whole typing people online, right? I think is dangerous, right? It's dangerous because of the current atmosphere that we're in. You know what I'm saying to you? We have people who are non-INFJs who have stopped making INFJ videos because of the backlash that they've received from, you know, certain viewers against these YouTubers. You know what I'm saying to you? So you go and you say, oh, you know, whatever you're saying about these other folks. That's why I don't talk about other folks. I don't go around talking about other personality types because I don't know you. That's not my business. So then when you have all these folks doing it and they get the backlash, you know, because they feel that they're being undermined and they're not being, you know, portrayed correctly. Now you take someone being typed by someone who, you know, readily admitted that most of his contact and associations are online. So you take someone who's online, who's typing people online. people who get typed, you know, and they get, oh man, I followed this person for so long, and come to find out he's not who I thought he was, and he was typed by this person. I mean, it can get dangerous, bro. Like, people can suffer. I mean, if you watch online, like, people become like.
And sure, you get hate mail anytime you say anything provocative, but what I was pleasantly surprised by was how positive the response has been, and how many local, for example, NPR shows I've done where professors have called in and said, yes, I'm really getting more worried about how easy it is to say the wrong thing these days. A lot of professors, for example, Jay Rosen, after reading the article, tweeted, this is a famous journalism professor at NYU, said that, yeah, I self-censor, and this is a problem. Different professors calling and saying that they're pretty wary. Now, one criticism that I thought was very valid was that we didn't mention the consumerism aspect of it. That essentially universities are so concerned with making students happy because they're seen as, they come with a $60,000 check attached to them essentially, that they're bending over backwards and doing kind of ridiculous things in order to please them. That critic thought that was the entire story. I think it's part of it, but I do think it is actually part of it.
I'm telling you, man, it's just, you need to be careful with this stuff. You see what I'm saying to you? Like, for me, this is how I look at it, right? If someone types me as ENFJ or what have you, at the end of the day, I still have NI, I still have FE, and I still have TI, and I still have SE. I can, because of what I'm doing, you see what I'm saying to you? I can still NI better. I can still FE better, and I can still TI and SE better than what I can do right now, because it's all about progression, right? So if you say, oh, well, INFJs are the ones who have it in their mind, but they don't speak up, well, the ENFJs are the ones who actually speak out. I just told you the answer. I just told you INFJs don't speak out, ENFJs speak out. There's something right there for you, right there. You have a choice. Don't get it, don't speak up, or get it, speak out. You have a promotion waiting for you right here. Oh no, it's not the same thing. It's the same thing. You work on what you want, right? You convey your message. You make yourself a productive person. You speak up, you speak out. Guess what? You contribute to others, because we're people, right? We're people's people. We help people. So how do you help people if you can't help yourself? If you can't speak up for yourself, how can you help others?
That is what I see is consistent with reality, in the sense that people that are extremely successful and balanced and are not really having a super hard time in life as far as, knowing who they are and getting shit done, they have to play all 8 functions. It doesn't matter which functions they're born with. It doesn't matter which 2 savior functions they like best. As they've gotten older and they've gotten good, what defines them as a great person in society is that they can be FE courteous, and they can TE make things work, and they do TI know the reasons for their identity, and they do have an FI value that they're very passionate about. They don't care if you like it or not. So they end up having all the functions, quote unquote, in some way, shape, or form as far as their performance.
Right? I mean, so again, I'm not going to go into that space, but we need to be careful. We need to be very careful into how we navigate these grounds. You see what I'm saying to you? Because at the end of the day, if you're not being productive, if you're not actually looking at your discrepancies or your deficiencies and saying, yeah, I can do better, but rather instead, oh no, that's me. Yeah, now I know it's me. Yeah, now it gives me, a reason to be how I am, because I know others are like me, so therefore I'm going to be this way. What about your kids now? What happens when you have children? Oh, I'm not going to have children because INFJs don't have children.
I'm literally making content on the internet that says fail on purpose.
Yeah.
Like I literally make content every day that says the reason I'm successful is because I failed my whole life.
Yeah.
I was a terrible student. I was told that I wasn't going to be good. Like nothing pointed to my success in the system I was playing in, except for me and my mom and in my head. So like I shit on 8th place trophies. I just posted a video. I literally posted a video this morning that I knew wasn't going to do well, called Fake Environments and left a comment and said, I knew this wasn't going to do well because none of you want to deal with this reality that if your parents pay just for your Uber, you're already living in a fake environment. Like, I'm pushing. I'm about to get really unpopular because I'm going to write a parenting book that's going to make every single parent in America not like me. So I'm very passionate about this. And so what am I going to do? Let me give you an example of what I do. I tell a 5-year-old boy that he's not going to be in the NBA when he looks at me and says he's going to be.
Yeah.
Which then is going to create a reaction. Maybe he is. I don't know. But what I'll tell you is it's highly unlikely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not giving him that DNA.
Yeah. Or it does create this resiliency,
Correct.
right? It's the no, not yet stuff that I
love. But I'm definitely not going to say, you sure are, little guy.
Yeah.
I wish somebody did that for me.
Somebody did what for you?
I wish somebody said that to me when I was 7, saying that.
Because you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear this all the time, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? And like, you wonder, like, Johnny, like, why are you focused on these people that you don't even know? Why are you an INFJ? Why do you feel so much? You know that when what's his name, Eric typed me? And he was like complaining about, not really complaining, but he was mentioning the fact of how I'm validating myself and how I'm presenting all my information and I'm this and I've done that and I've done that. And he was saying that I presented it as if I was speaking to him as if he had never done anything, you know, which again, him being TI or TE or whatever he is, I think he's TI. Didn't realize that I wasn't speaking directly to him. That I do these in all my videos, and I say I'm not trying to toot my horn, but this is what I've done in order to demonstrate. Hey, FENI, TISE, however you want to freaking move them around. All right, you can get stuff done if you expose yourself to things, right? Because that's how you learn, right? And so I do it on all my videos. All my videos I do it. You see what I'm saying to you? But he took one video because, again, the title was me responding to him, to Eric, and he took it as if I was speaking directly to him, which in reality, I stated in the very beginning of the video that it was a response or a request to someone who had asked me, hey, what do you think? What are you going to do when what's his name comes after you? And I made a response. And I did address the fact that he does what he does well, and I'm not taking anything from it. And now a lot of the times he has contradicted himself as well, but he skipped over that. He spent 40 minutes on a video. It's 40 minutes. And then he come to the conclusion that I'm an ENFJ. And he was sitting with another INFJ who doesn't do shit with his life. You see what I'm saying to you? Because again, let's be honest. Let's be honest, bro. You see what I'm saying to you? And it's not FI. It's not FI. It's not FI. And this is not about me. This is not about me. Like I said, the whole thing of the video is that when you have folks who are not properly engaging, who are simply sitting here and like toying with people's feelings and emotions, okay? Not mine, because like I said, I don't care. Because I'm still here making videos. At the end of the day, whether I'm an INFJ or ENFJ or IST, whatever, at the end of the day, guess what? I still have feelings. I still understand people. I still use my intuition because I'm like, hey, you know what? There's something happening. And I provide context in terms of supportive material that says, yeah, something's happening with the internet and people are going rogue. And that we have students right now who can't even speak up because they're afraid. Want a clip? Listen to this.
That's the other phrase that you use in there, trigger warning specifically. Right. That's just saying, okay, flagging this as a possible offensive thing.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But once you start that, if professors are expected to trigger, to mention anything that could trigger anyone, there's no end to it. And then students come to expect it. And what happens when they go out into the real world and nobody's there to warn them?
Well, you mentioned the real world. It's interesting, the timing of this article against the political landscape.
Yeah.
What do you think is the broader impact? I mean, we live in this world where everyone, in a way, is treated very fragilely. Like, there's bubble wrap around them. Yeah. What happens when people are suppressing things not to say they're right things, but suppressing some free thought.
Well, so the very idea that colleges are trying to bubble wrap people is exactly the wrong thing to do. American childhoods have gotten safer and safer. Parents are more protective. Adults step in to stop bullying, to ban peanuts. So students come to college expecting adult protection. College is when we should be rolling that back because they're about to go out into the real world. And instead, if we're putting more bubble wrap on, when they get out into the real world, their skins are so thin, they can't cope.
I think social media, as you pointed out, has a huge role in all of this. Everybody's got a crusade, it feels like.
That's right. It amplifies things.
Yeah.
It speeds everything up.
Jonathan Haidt, thank you so much. Such an interesting article.
Thank you, Vinny.
Okay. And all the stuff that I provided, what's his name, Eric? Oh, I don't like that guy. I don't like Billy Organ. I don't like the other guy. I don't like this guy. Bro, you don't like Dave Superpowers. You don't like Sia Joseph. You don't like anyone who does what they do and challenges them at the end of the day. Eric doesn't like anybody except for himself.
Then there is omniscience. Omniscience got a boost. Omniscience is a pathological defense in narcissism. It's the narcissist's belief that he knows everything, that you cannot teach him anything, and therefore narcissists have resistance to learning because they perceive learning as narcissistic injury, as a challenge to their omniscience. The internet encourages us to think that information is knowledge. Everything comes in huge dollops of goo and you know, and we tend to confuse this with knowledge. So if you know what happened in 1066, you have information. You don't have knowledge at all. You don't know the context. You don't know the true history, the background, the decision making, nothing. You know the information. So we confuse information with knowledge. Now this is again something that narcissists do. What narcissists do in order to impress you, they accumulate a lot of anecdotes, a lot of anecdotal knowledge, information. They accumulate a lot of bits of information and then they throw it at you. And they overwhelm you. They paralyze you with this river of endless. And you say, wow, this guy is amazing. He's so knowledgeable. He's not. He's a trash bin of anecdotes and
just spewing it
factoids. And so spewing it out.
Doesn't like anyone. Oh yeah, Dave Superpowers can come on my show and I can debate him. Have him come on my show, bro. Like it's not a competition, bro. You see what I'm saying to you? It's not a competition, and I'm not talking to him. I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to the folks who are watching this video. You see what I'm saying to you? I mean, as far as FE is concerned, Dave Powers says this with regards to FE.
They have the system building intuition. Basically, everything as they go in through life, they're seeing patterns and principles and they're putting it together. So as time goes on, they're getting smarter and wiser because they're learning from all these invisible trends that they can see. They're not learning just from books. The INFJ can spend more time inside of themselves, really contemplating world events and world meaning and the purpose of humanity and stuff like this. So they're getting a lot of charge and energy and focus from their internal world. And then when they get all that energy, they want to then put it externally through their extroverted feelings. So when they're presenting to you their ideas and their concepts and stuff that's been musing around inside of their introvert intuition, they want to communicate it through extroverted feeling, meaning they want you to feel what they've been thinking about. So they're not going to be just presenting facts, like an INTJ will. They're going to be presenting the emotion of their cause.
So what? No. We're going to listen to one person, but we're not going to listen to the other. But how much research have you done to come to your conclusion? How many blogs, how many posts, how many Reddit posts have you watched or read? Or blogs, go to this link, go to that YouTube video with regards to who you are, who you've been typed. How much? Tell me, in the past 2 months, how much YouTube video have you watched with regards to INFJ? And how many different folks have you watched? And they're all going to say the same thing? I mean, think about it, bro. And then yet, when you go on forums, you always hear, MBTI is not it's not something you put all your eggs in one basket. Right? It's just a stepping stone just to give you an idea of who you are, but it's not really who you are. Then you take that. But then the next day you're on videos, thumbs up, thumbs down, right? To whatever you feel closer to on that day. Oh, I'm gonna move with Eric because he says this today. Oh no, tomorrow I'm gonna go with Dave Superpowers because he said that. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go with this person. You see what I'm saying to you? And I'm not talking to my viewers, because I know there's a lot of TI folks or T heavy types, right? That you have to be very specific with them, because at the end of the day, when think about it, when Eric, after I validated myself, I was like, this is what I do, what I did. He spent the last bit of the video talking about, well, I've done this, I've done that. I don't know why he's trying to say that I haven't done that. I've been on the debate team. I've traveled across the country. I make videos and stuff. He's trying to like that. It's like, bro, like, you did the same thing that I did, but yeah, you calling me out for it.
I know we're a handful, but you don't get it. We've been being shut down for as long as we remember. And at a certain point, you get sick of it. And we understand that we've got to find outlets that aren't going to be so impositional on others. But to a certain level, you can't blame us for being how we are, and given the fact that when we're children, we don't know how we are. No one's telling us this. And all they are telling us is there's something wrong with us.
You know what I'm saying to you? But guess what? Obviously, now I've calmed down. I've whatever. But as soon as I watched that video, I couldn't sleep. You know why I couldn't sleep? Because I felt bad. Because my intention wasn't to undermine him, or because I wasn't even speaking directly to him. I even went back to some old videos that he made where he posted. I remember he posted his phone number, and I texted him, I emailed him, and I called him because I couldn't sleep. I wanted to make sure that I did what I had to do and all that I can do to ensure that my message was, that my message got across, that there was no harm there, because I don't do that. I don't go around undermining people. I don't go around trying to challenge folks. And this is video, I'm not challenging him either. And I had to be specific, because again, it's like I had mentioned about how INFJ is a chameleon. Like, oh, I didn't say that. Like, yo, dude, like, I never said you did. You see what I'm saying to you? And I wasn't even talking directly to you. But again, a lot of TI folks, they don't get that. Like, my father is the same way. He's an ENTP. When I go big, he doesn't get it. Like, I have to go straight with him. Like, I have to be very detailed, because he doesn't like the fluff. He just wants you to go straight.
I had a German individual who said to me, Aaron, in Germany, at the end of a meeting, we almost always do a recap. First, we do a verbal recap, and then we do a written recap. That's low context, right? Clarification. He said, now that I've been working frequently with the French, I often find that at the end of a meeting, I'll get ready to do a recap, and my French colleagues will just stand up, and someone will say, et voilà, there it is. And I'll think to myself, but voila what? And then I'll be very surprised to see that it just seems that people know what's been decided, that they know what's supposed to happen next, without going through all of those levels of clarification that I'm so used to in my own culture.
So again, it's like, bro, like, you can't have an ENTP type in INFJs, bro. You can't. Like, I don't care who you are. It's like, not only that, and I've said it before, we have all the information now. You know everything about you now. You know all your weak points. How many videos have you watched about unhealthy INFJs? You know all the unhealthy behaviors of yourself and 1,000 more people. Oh, like, oh, I've never done that before. Well, maybe I'll end up doing that. And sure enough, you did it. Oh, guess what? I'm going to go back to that video. Yeah, guess what? I'm just like that. And then when I come in, and now I'm getting passionate now. When I come in and I'm protecting my folks, because we are the protectors, right? INFJs, you're the protector. Can we be passionate about helping others? Can we be passionate about helping others? Oh no. Or is it that we have to be quiet and not say anything and live our lives, be quiet? Is that what you want to do? Is that what it's all about? You claim that you want to help people, but what are you doing to help people? What are you doing? The other people are watching you. When you're going around in these YouTube videos and you thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, yeah, that's me, I'm unhealthy, yeah, I can't do that, I won't do that, I won't do that. And you're saying it as if it's a good thing. And when the young kids are watching you and they're reading your comments and you say, oh man, I can't believe other people are just like me, that means I'm good, then I'm not going to speak up for that promotion. I'm not going to speak up when the shit hits the fan. I was a cop, I'm telling you. There were times where kids could not say anything because they were afraid of the backlash. And they had to take it. You know how it affected me? You know how much it affected me? Because these kids didn't have a voice to speak up. And you know what? I'm going to tell you a little secret. Oftentimes when I went back to make the report, I was told, don't worry about it. Because they're just doing it for attention. That's a little secret I'm telling you. Okay? Okay. And you know how much it hurt me? You know how much it affected me? You know how I couldn't go home to eat? Okay? And you're wondering why I spent so much time here. INFJ or not, at the end of the day, guess what? I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, even if it's to help one or two of you. And it's not for the views. It's not for the money. It's for the love. This is because of what we do. Because we're INFJs.